The Orlando Magic didn't snag any all-star free agents this offseason, but instead packed the foundation of their organization with defensive juggernauts at every position. One move that might be getting overlooked by the NBA media was their massive commitment to forward Jonathan Isaac, who doesn't get the recognition he deserves. For those who are unaware of Jonathan Isaac, the dude is an absolute freak of nature. He's one of the longest and most tenacious forces in the entire league. Isaac was drafted with the 6th overall pick by the Magic back in 2017 and quickly opened eyes with his jaw-dropping defensive metrics. But after helping the Magic make the playoffs in 2020, the 6'10" forward missed almost 3 whole seasons of basketball after tearing his ACL. Last season, after making a recovery, he came off the bench for the Magic and was back at full form. To break down his impact into stats, Jonathan Isaac was one of only 2 players in the league to average 2.5 blocks, 1.5 steals, and a three-pointer per 36 minutes of play. You know who the only other player in the league to put up that smorgasbord of stats this year? Spurs rookie sensation Victor Wembanyama. Beyond just accumulative stats, Isaac also held his opponents to an incredibly low shooting percentage and pulls down rebounds like a menace. All these metrics combined quietly gave the Florida State product the best defensive rating of any player in the league last year. While other players on the Magic get more credit than Isaac, it's no coincidence that his return to health coincided with the team's return to the playoffs for the first time since his last healthy season. Isaac isn't the most dynamic offensive force in the league, but he's very capable of getting buckets in a limited role. Not only did he knock down his three-point attempts at a very respectable 37.5% accuracy last year, but he also pulled down almost 3 offensive rebounds per 36 minutes. And his shooting was even better when he caught the ball on the baseline. Last year, Isaac shot over 45% from the corner. The guy's a true unicorn and is built for the modern NBA. He can forcefully guard any position and creates an abundance of extra possessions for his team. At age 26, he embodies everything that head coach Jamal Mosley's instilling into his young Magic cast. For these reasons, the Orlando Brass leveraged their gluttony of cap space to extend Isaac for 5 more seasons in a deal worth a total of $84 million. It might sound like a lot of money until you hear how much some other players with similar capabilities signed for around the league. For example, the New York Knicks extended their 26-year-old forward, OG Anunoby, to a 5-year contract as well. The difference is that Anunoby's deal was worth a total of $212 million. This video isn't about criticizing the Knicks for locking down one of the best 3-and-D players in the league. They'll surely need Anunoby to defend the likes of Jason Tatum, Paul George, and Giannis out east. But there's also no doubting that while they're on the floor, it could be argued that Isaac is a more impactful presence. He isn't quite as reliable from 3, but he definitely doesn't block or rebound anywhere close to Isaac's abilities. By our research, there's no way to say that Anunoby is worth more than double the salary that Isaac deserves. Both guys have a history of injuries, as does Paul George, who signed for over $200 million with the 76ers. By locking in Isaac, the Magic secure one of the league's most impactful defensive weapons as part of their developing foundation. Isaac wasn't the only player the team extended, though. The Magic rewarded their homegrown talent after the franchise's best season since the Dwight Howard era. Jalen Suggs signed a 4-year deal worth an affordable $60 million, and Franz Wagner, the team's second leading scorer, secured a 5-year max contract worth $224 million. Wagner's deal might sound like a lot, but very few players in the league have a skill set like him at 6'10". He might not be a shot blocker or rebounder, but he's got amazing mobility and vision at his size. Wagner can slither his way to the bucket with the best of them and also finish second on the team in assists. Often compared to a taller Manu Ginobili, the German forward brings a rare combination of skill and length on the wing that enables him to be a difference maker on both ends of the court. His brother, Mo Wagner, Gary Harris, and Goga Bitadze were extended to deals as well to provide size and versatility off the bench. And lastly, the team brought in Kentavious Caldwell-Pope on a 3-year deal to give the Magic another responsible defender and lights-out shooter. KCP has championship experience and a starting role with both the Lakers and Nuggets and is surely to bring leadership to the Magic while fitting into their defensive system seamlessly. Interestingly, when you look at trends around the NBA, the winning formula no longer seems to revolve around having the best player in the league. The Boston Celtics definitely have star power in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but I don't think many would make an argument that either player is the best in the world right now. In fact, it could be argued that neither player individually is even in the top 5. That didn't stop the Celtics from storming over their opponents en route to one of the most dominant playoff runs in recent memory. How did they do so? Well, instead of stacking the top of the lineup, they made sure that they had no holes anywhere in their lineup. All the Celtics starters could defend any position and could also hit the open three-pointer. They were well coached, played in unison, and had no weaknesses to exploit. In a sense, the Magic are building a roster that has some similar traits. On one hand, the team clearly can't shoot the three at the level the Celtics can, but that might be okay. They're jam-packed with ruthless defenders that can switch and wreak havoc at every position. Their relentless defensive pressure and pursuit of offensive rebounds makes them an extremely tough matchup. And they very well could have one of the brightest young stars in the entire league. Paolo Banchero, the 2022 first overall pick, is an absolute stud. At 6'10" and over 250 pounds, the dude is built like an absolute freight train. In fact, one could argue that no prospect has entered the league as physically overwhelming with as mature, reliable, and a well-rounded game as Banchero has since LeBron joined the league in 2003. His scoring totals don't exactly jump off the charts, but 22.6 points per game is nothing to scoff at when looking at a 21-year-old sophomore, especially when that young man also posted almost 7 boards, 5.5 assists, and shot 34% from deep. There's very little doubt that Banchero will continue to develop into an absolute monster with all the tools to win an NBA title. And with the way Jamal Mosley has helped form the roster around him, it'll be no surprise to see them knocking on the door sooner than later. Last season, the Magic, a very young team, were amongst the best in the entire league in limiting opponents' rebounds, forcing turnovers, and limiting points. They forced some of the longest possessions in the league and gave up the least amount of offensive rebounds. They also played one of the slowest-paced, grit-and-grind half-court offenses in the league, which resulted in more free throw attempts per game than any other team in the league. On the other end, the Magic allowed the least field goal attempts per game in the entire league. Traditionally, these are not the most popular metrics when assessing a winning formula, but the numbers speak loudly. By winning loose ball battles and forcing difficult shots at the end of the shot clock, it was incredibly difficult to find rhythm against the Magic. And the roster moves they made this offseason will only solidify their team identity and two-way impact over the next stretch of seasons. But we want to know what you guys think. Are the Magic building a juggernaut in Orlando? What do you think of the Jonathan Isaac contract? Let us know in the comments section, and please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more sports news and insights. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.